City Current. Produced by Dakota Media Access. In-depth discussion with Bismarck and Mandan city officials. Watch on Government Access Channel 602 HD or tune in to Radio Access 102.5 FM. Always local, always current.
And coming up on this edition of City Current, we'll show you the fire department rescue boat that Mandan has on the water right now. We'll talk about a retirement from Cooper from the Mandan Police Department and give you an update on Memorial Highway construction. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tom Gerhardt from Dakota Media Access, joined by Mandan City Administrator Jim Neubauer. Great to see you again, Jim.
Thanks, Tom. It's been a few weeks.
It has been a few weeks.
We've got 54 degrees out, high of 72 today, so enjoying the nice weather while we still have it. So.
Oh, gosh. Actually, I was in Mandan last night for my son's football game.
Very good.
That was picture-perfect fall, cool in the morning, cool at night, beautiful day. So got to hold on to these days before snow flies, right?
Is that the old Goldilocks day, right?
That's right.
So we enjoy those when they're here.
Well, a lot going on at the City Commission meeting. We want to start a lot of interesting things in the announcements last night, including that fire department rescue boat that I mentioned. We'll take a look at a couple of photos of that, but wanted to express appreciation because you guys got some help getting
several donations, a significant grant from North Dakota Game and Fish, and we, as Fire Chief Bitts mentioned last night, over the years we have added, I think he said, over 8 miles of shoreline with all of our bays in Mandan, and there's also obviously the Missouri River, that those opportunities for things to go wrong and things to happen along the water have become significantly more important than they have in the past. So again, very grateful to all of the private donations that we've received and also the grants from North Dakota Game and Fish. Folks are busy getting trained on the boat right now while, again, weather is cooperating very nicely. So again, this boat will be housed down in the fire station 2 in the Lakewood area. So we're very excited to get this out and operating.
Yeah, cool looking boat. We'll hear a little bit more from Chief Bitts later in City Current. Also talking about fire department, there's an open house coming up that Chief Bitts talked about.
Absolutely. October is Fire Prevention Month, so we are having the Fire Prevention Open House at Station 1 downtown on Collins Avenue on October 14th. Next Tuesday night, there will be a parade starting at 6:30 that usually begins from up in the Cloverdale area where Morton County Rural Fire Department is and travels down Sunset, 6th Avenue, Main Street, and over to Station 1. So within Station 1, all of our full-time firefighters, our career firefighters, and our part-time firefighters will be there with demonstrations on how to handle a hose for kids and try and put fires out. And there's also as always, hot dogs and water and things like that. And several businesses will be down there also entertaining the kids and giving them, fire safety tips. I think the Lions is usually down there checking kids' eyes, and there's a couple of other insurance agencies that are helping with ID cards and things like that. So a lot of good activities show up, and also the all-important fire truck rides. If you see the fire trucks rolling around downtown Mandan, probably from 7 o'clock until sometimes they'll go as late as 9 o'clock with the kids lined up, and that's always a big hit when they get to ride in the fire truck.
Yeah, who doesn't want to ride in a fire truck or that new fire rescue boat, too?
Absolutely.
I think,
we'll keep that one on the side for now.
Okay, we're not doing that.
I think that will be on display.
I'm talking for myself.
Yes.
I got to be able to. Mandan played host, too, to 4 new inductees for the North Dakota Music Hall of Fame. And so I know starting off with the Blenders.
Yeah, crazy event held, I think, on 24th of September at Dykeshorn Park with the Blenders and Chuck Suki and Richard Torrance and Skitch Henderson, I believe, were the 4 inductees. And, it was, I think, Marlo Anderson called it, we kind of had a music pub crawl.
Yeah.
So several different things going on in downtown Mandan for that Sunday afternoon, and all kinds of different artists performing in several of the entertainment establishments downtown. So I heard it was a very eclectic kind of music going on. If you weren't into one kind of music,
they had another.
Walk across the block and there it is for you. So all kinds of different things.
If you watched the meeting last night, you heard everything from Chuck Suki to Wiz Khalifa.
Yeah.
So Wiz wasn't inducted, but
he was not
has
there,
a North Dakota tie and could be a potential future inductee.
Yep. So I think what I heard was you had Brianna Helbing playing in one establishment, and across the alley you had some rap music coming out of the other establishment. And so very, like I said, there's a lot of different things going on, and which is always very entertaining and very good for our downtown nightlife. Well, this would have been afternoon life.
We took advantage of it. We had a photo of Chuck Suki holding his induction poster certificate. Yep. We had Chuck come over, and Justin did a great interview with him. Right. Played some of his music, and then we did the same photo. Richard Torrance is in the middle there holding up his poster, but we had Richard and Chuck come over and talk about a couple of great longtime North Dakota musicians. It was great to have them on the radio. So if you go to radioaccess.org, you can find those shows and really good interviews mixed in with some of their music. So
I think Chuck is a Mandan, longtime Mandan supporter and Morton County resident, and if I remember right, North Dakota's troubadour.
He's the official troubadour of North Dakota. That's right.
There we go.
Yep.
Kudos to Chuck, and we're awful glad he calls Mandan his own.
Well, we had a retirement to talk about. And
yes.
I know LeBron James had some people concerned with social media. I don't know if you saw that, Jim, earlier this week, which turned out to be an advertisement for something else. But this has nothing to do with LeBron James or you or me, but Cooper's retiring this week.
Absolutely. On Friday at Dykeshorn Park, I believe at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll have a little ceremony for Cooper as one of our first, I think he is probably our first canine that joined our force, I think 7-8 years ago, and a very generous donation from Bob Cooper, who I think said, hey, we think you need a canine on the force, and I'll pay for it. And Cooper has been trained, and he's been an awesome dog to have. I think Josh Shear, his sergeant, is his handler now, and he will retire into the home life of just being a dog. And Josh is awful happy to have him. And again, we're very thankful to Bob Cooper and his family for the donation to bring Cooper on board. And he's been great for a lot of our public service things. Cooper is also a working dog. I think Mayor Freilich asked a question about what language does he speak.
He did.
Because he was not giving commands in English, and that is with both of our canines. The commands are not in English; they are in a different language. So if you're after a bad actor and they don't say "stop, dog," the dog isn't going to pay attention to you because they will listen to the commands in the language that they have learned.
Interesting. And Chief Ziegler, I think, mentioned too that a replacement will go into the 2027 budget, if I heard that right. So there'll be another canine down the road.
Yep, we have Officer Black with Medby right now and still on the street, and so it'll be a couple of years before we find a replacement for Cooper. And it's not an easy. You just don't pull a dog off the street. Right. These are very specific for the tasks that they have, and there's a significant amount of training that goes into both the handler and the animal that is chosen.
Another big event taking place in Mandan mid-October, the Business Pitch Challenge, and that's the 15th of October. Doors open at 5, you said, and we've got 3 great finalists.
Yeah, 3, I think actually 4 great finalists.
4, I'm sorry, yes.
As a judge yourself, you will be judging those 4 finalists. October 15th at Central Station, again, downtown Mandan. Doors open at 5 o'clock. The presentations will start at 5:30. So we have the Soda Drop by Kimberly and Darren Hertz. This is what they call a dirty soda company with food service operation. We also have Pronto Chore by Vaughn Deinert, Michael Storick, and Arnie Streeb. Sorry, I know Arnie, so apologize for butchering your last name. This is a technology platform connecting small businesses and homeowners with local Pronto pros to complete seasonal, residential, commercial chores. Probably one of those where if you need help cleaning up your yard this time of year, this is, I think, an app that you could use. We have Learning Loft Childcare by Tawny and Cameron Chowsey. They are a child care center. And we have Dakota Soda by Samantha Roth, which would be a soda shop with craft sodas, specialty drinks, snacks, and branded merchandise. So there you go. There's the advertisement for all 4 of those entities for the Mandan Business Pitch Challenge. And if you haven't heard of it before, it's similar to if you've watched Shark Tank. Businesses will make their pitch. They'll be judged by an independent panel of judges for some significant awards and prize money, and also packages that local businesses have provided for them.
It's been a while since I've been called in to judge. I was telling friends the last thing I did was a rhubarb festival
Wow.
years ago in Washburn. And I didn't realize how serious rhubarb recipes were in North Dakota. So I'm coming in a little cautiously, realizing these are really serious ideas that...
Yeah, they are. And if you look at some of our past business pitch businesses that are in places right now, Kids in Motion is a really great example that they have now built their own building. They're in their third location since they got up and going. And like you said, that is one of our prime examples, along with the folks from Copper Dog Cafe.
Right.
And they have, I think they were the Chamber's Small Business of the Year this year. So these competitions, one, it kind of gives a deadline for folks. I've been thinking about opening up a business, and this provides some of that impetus. There's a lot of coaching that goes into this too. So again, it provides that, I want to do this. There's a reward at the end of the day. Let me get my business plan, my information together. If you're fortunate enough to be one of the lucky winners, there's a substantial cash award, which comes in the form of a forgivable loan, so to try and help out those new entrepreneurs. But again, several businesses have sprouted up and taken off from this when it was first started several years ago.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun evening. So again, we encourage folks you can go to cityofmandan.com and register so that we get an idea on how to plan and set up and what kind of beverages and food to order for folks. So again, 5:30.
October
15th.
Yeah. Well, we can kind of zip through the construction updates. A lot of big projects going on, or winter's coming around the corner. But let's start with Memorial Highway. I think last time we talked, you were hoping there'd be 3 underground crews working, and
I think there are several underground crews working now. Right now, if you've been out there for the Wavy Bacon ride, and just to assure folks, the Wavy Bacon will not be there this winter. One way or another, contractor has until November 23rd to complete the phase 1 of this project. You see a lot of underground work going on. I think we get 3 inches of rain again on Saturday night into Sunday. So a lot of pooling of water. We did get, I think, 1,000 feet. I say we, which does not include me, mind you. I'm not a concrete person, but 1,000 feet of concrete was put down last week, and I think curb and gutter was installed on the part of the south side of this project, and looking forward to a lot more of that going down in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, it's good to see that color stripe
yes.
on the roadway.
Very much so. And again, rest assured, folks, that the Wavy Bacon road traveling surface, well, a lot of people get a lot of comments that people really like. This is kind of fun. I guarantee you it may not be that fun this winter.
Be a whole new set of circumstances this winter.
Unfortunately or fortunately, the Wavy Bacon will go away, and hopefully we have 5 lanes of concrete down before November 23rd.
Water treatment plant, phase 3, the work continues?
Yeah, a lot of shotcrete going on, which is basically concrete being shot up on the walls to form the outside of this structure, and looking forward to its completion. But that's one, if you're driving by on Collins Avenue, it's about on a daily basis you can see progress being made. And like I said, very significant 2 million gallon water reservoir to replace the existing 2 million gallon one that we have now. So again, good projects going on. We also have at the water treatment facility, a water treatment plant optimization phase 3. I call it probably 333 at the water plant. But again, the lime silo conduit and the concrete site work is being done next to the railroad spur out there. So lots of work going on in town, including the what we call the Monty Drive water line replacement project up by Lewis and Clark School.
I think the last time I saw it was a lot of scaffolding.
A lot of scaffolding. So work on the water reservoir has been going really quick. And when this work is done and this reservoir is put into service, the old reservoir will be taken down, and all the concrete will be removed.
Which is next year?
Yes, we're looking at probably 2027 or 2026. Interesting, when we were building the new location, it's kind of like we're building reservoirs on top of old reservoirs, but there was some footings and things that were found from the old reservoir. And what we will do when we take down our older reservoir is we'll pull everything out of there, so that in hopefully 100 years, when all of us are not around, they won't be going, why didn't they take these things out of here back when? We will remove all remnants of the old reservoir completely, and also we will pull back the wall on that intersection. we'll pull it back so there's better sight distance on the intersection of Collins and Division.
And 2024 and 2025 reconstruction, those projects.
Continuing on, finally, some of those up in the Illustrator Drive area by Christ King School. And we're also, again, the Monty Drive Waterline project continues, and we're getting close to starting to button a lot of those things up as we go now, too.
A lot of work that's been done the last few months, to say the least.
Yes, and there will be, it happens every year this time of year when we're on to October, when we don't know when the weather is going to significantly change. So there's a lot of folks that are very busy right now.
Also wanted to remind folks the Art Alley ribbon cutting, I guess you're calling it a ribbon cutting, is coming up. That's really taking shape, and you'd shown us some photos last time.
Yeah, October 22nd, 5:15 p.m. we'll do a ribbon cutting in the alley. And if you haven't been through there, behind the Butcher Block area, Starian Bank, behind Vicky's Sports Bar and Big Six Cigars. If you can avoid, though, driving through that alley, that'd be great. But if you want to take a walk through, please do so, because the artists continue to work and get this project wrapped up. And like I say, if you haven't been back there, look, there's some pretty cool stuff going on back there.
Just a sample here, but we talked about a few of them last show, and really, really great artwork. That's a really nice addition to the alleys.
And it's amazing how many people are coming downtown and walking through the alley and taking a look at that stuff.
The whole idea, right? Get people
that's the
out
idea, get them downtown.
Looking,
this, again, is one of those projects that's spawned by a public gathering we had at Central Station a couple of years ago. Talked about an entertainment district, and also what we can do. We've got an alley here. How do we make it special? How do we make it a place where people want to come? So this is step one in that process. And the artists, my hat's off to them. They are doing just fantastic work. And
you and I can really appreciate good artwork, right?
Yep. Much more complicated than our stick people that we draw, and we don't even do those very well.
No.
So hats off to those folks. They do a great job.
Moving on to the regular agenda, you have a new vice president for the City Commission.
Yeah, Commissioner Rohr made a decision that he is currently the vice president of the board. He has indicated that he is not going to run for another term in next June, so we thought it would be good to move out of that vice president spot and put Commissioner Heinshan into that vice president spot. So that went off without a hitch, and as the vice chair of the board, you get to run the meetings when the president of the board is not in town or things like that. So Commissioner Heinshan will be doing a very good job as that comes up.
A couple other things. The long-term financial planning was adopted last night. Just tell us a little bit about that. It's looking 5 years down the road.
An accumulation. Again, you've seen some of these things on the agenda over the last couple of months. It's an accumulation of work that was started last January with the City Commission and our finance director, assistant finance director, and all of our departments putting together some long-range projections and some plans so that one of those things that happens when you have new mayors and new commissioners, where are we going in the future? And here's what, part of that is adopting some of those priorities that have been worked on over the last 9-10 months. So again, one of those next steps that comes along and says it's not that those plans can't change, we all know that, but we need a sense of where we're going and how are we planning out items for the future, so we're not just hopping from area to area to area. There's a plan. It has significant thought and input into that plan, and so this is again part of that finalization of wrapping those things up.
Some engineering agreements were accepted last night, including one with Apex for a master lift station, another with more engineering.
Yeah, it kind of goes in line with your long-range financial plan. What projects do you need to work through, and what are the priorities? The master lift station is one of those, and also the street improvement district project that are part of these engineering agreements. We did a request for qualifications for engineering firms to propose to do the work, and a group of internal folks scored those proposals and then came to consensus on who do we think best will perform on these projects. And so, for the public's sake, we don't go and hand pick engineering firms to do projects. There are some that have specialized areas that will better suited to do different work. In this case, several engineering firms had made proposals, internal scoring, came up, and here's who we are recommending that move forward on these projects. So again, projects for the master lift station, and the master lift station really is where 75% of our wastewater stream comes to ahead, and then is moved out to the wastewater treatment plant. So a very significant piece of our infrastructure in town.
75%. That's
Yep.
no joke.
Yep.
Also heard about considering an RFP, a request for proposal for Fire Station 3. So again,
Right.
This is not committing to a new fire station last night, but just trying to gather more information to be able to make that decision down
Yeah,
the
it
road.
kind of goes along with another item on our consent agenda, was that we had applied for what they call a SAFER grant, which helps fund police officers and firefighters. We were applied for 6 firefighter positions, and we were recently made aware of that we were awarded funds to help pay for those firefighters for the first 3 years, and then after that they're on your own. But another way to get our current, what we call career firefighters, and get staffed up for Station 1 and Station 2, and then looking forward to the next step would be, all right, we also know that we have a need in the northwest part of town. Let's start with an architectural firm that will look at we have a location up on Old Red Trail that we think is...
There's a map we have just to give people an idea.
Yep.
In that black box on Old Red Trail and Hillside Road, you own some land?
Yep, there's some land up there. It's right next to our reservoir that most people may not know. There's another water reservoir up there, but it is one of those that is underground. There's also a communication tower on that site, so we're looking at that as the potential home for a new Fire Station 3. But included in the request for architectural services is part of that will be, is this still remain as the best location for a new station, because you're not only planning it for today, you're looking at what are the next 10, 20, 30 years going to look like for a station. So,
And an update on the wastewater treatment plant.
yeah, we've talked about this several times. And
yep.
we have a master plan that it was done by an engineering firm for the wastewater treatment plant. Again, where that master lift station sends 75% of our waste is 25 years old, and has wastewater is really caustic, and it degrades the equipment that is used to treat it and things like that. So we have a master plan update that has been presented to the commission, and part of this is we're looking at a potential new treatment system out there, and a very spendy one. So what we want to do is say, let's have another firm come in and do what we call a peer review. Let's look at what has been proposed. If it's proposed and within kind of dollar-wise it makes sense on what these things cost, let's just have another set of eyes, and also other set of eyes will be looking at, is that the right technology? Treating wastewater over the past 20, 30 years, significant changes. And so what's being proposed, and again, it's a matter of going, is this the right solution, or might there be something else that might be less costly, or there might be better treatment provided in the future? So again, having a second set of eyes to look over what's been proposed to date, I think makes some sense on a project of this magnitude.
And finally, under resolutions and ordinances, the 2026 city budget was accepted.
Yeah, so if we walk back into our preliminary budget proposal was made in early August, and we had the budget hearing 3 weeks ago where the public can come in and make comments, and we received, I think, one written question, and we answered that question for that individual. We have not received any other feedback on the budget. So we did that last meeting, and then this meeting was the adoption of the final budget for 2026. So that's done, and that was sent over to the county by Greg, our finance director, last night, and they have what they need to do to start their work.
And then a couple months off and start all over again.
Yeah, a couple months, and that is it. Budget season really never
ends, right?
It is a continuous, and there's always new things that come up. So, but it's a matter of for the public out there, we're looking at, I think at the end of the day, the overall property valuation increase is about 3.5%. Our budgetary increase, I think after we had said it was 2.3%, I think at the last meeting, after some finalizations from the county on the library budget numbers, I think we're at 2.2%. So when we hear 3% budget cap, we're well within that 3%. We've met the the conditions that the Legislative Assembly set out for us. And not to say that that won't be challenging in the future, but we were able to do it this year. And like I said, that is our goal, is to make sure that we're using our resources as responsibly and efficiently as we can.
Whew, we just went through a lot of topics, a lot going on.
Yes, it was. Very much so. A lot of things on the agenda. We from a staffing standpoint, we appreciate all of our commissioners' time in working through those budgetary issues, not only for the last month and a half, but for all of our planning sessions and working sessions that we had started last January. So again, big lift by all of our commissioners, big lift by all of our departments, and kudos to all of them for putting in the time and the effort and presenting a needs-based budget, not necessarily just we would like to have this, or we would like to have that. We kind of whittled a lot of those things down to, here's what is needed.
Well, if you didn't get to see the City Commission meeting live last night, make sure you download our Dakota Media Access app, and you can watch whenever you want from wherever you are. We also have our Radio Access app that you can download and listen to all the great local music and local music producers. And if you have a smart TV, if you have Roku or Fire Stick, you can download Cablecast and find the meetings at home and watch from the comfort of your living room. So, Jim, until next time, thanks to all of you for joining us on City Current.
Thank you, Tom.
For more information on what was discussed in this episode of City Current, visit cityofmandan.com or call 701-667-3215. If you have any suggestions, comments, or issues you would like addressed in future City Current episodes, contact us at info@freetv.org. This program airs on Government Access Channel 2 and 602 in HD, or on Radio Access 102.5 FM. It's also available as a podcast on radioaccess.org and as a video viewing link at freetv.org. Thanks for tuning in to this edition of City Current.